Hi everyone! Today I want to revisit the final map of Verdant Wind. Several months ago, I posted the first recorded one-turn clear of this map on Maddening. For that strategy, I used Lysithea because she has the spell Luna Lambda, which ignores enemy resistance. That means Nemesis' huge stats, boosted by each of his 10 elites, don't matter at all. He just has 107 HP and 2 resilience from the stronghold tile he's standing on, which means if you have 109 magical attack with Luna, you can kill him in one hit. I knew that my original clear was at least a little suboptimal, but other people have since come up with new methods that improve on my ideas hugely. A few months ago, Reddit user OCDbox posted a strategy involving giving Lysithea Blessing and a Guard Adjutant, so that she could survive Nemesis' counterattack. Blessing saves her from the first hit, and the Adjutant protects her from the second. With that, and some dancer support, Lysithea is able to attack twice, which means the kill threshold drops from 109 attack all the way to 56. That's way more attainable for even a modestly trained Lysithea. You don't need S plus Reason, you don't need to master Grimoire for Defiant Magic, and you don't need to spend an action activating Defiant Magic. It's a very slick clear that's viable on LTC campaigns. Coming back to this now, I want to present a completely different method. Before we get to that though, I'm scrolling through all my units to show their inventories, abilities, stats, and skills. You'll notice that all of their stats are blue. Everyone has all their stats boosted. That's because I've again cooked the meal the best of Fodlan 4 times in the final month. There are actually 5 weekends in the last month of Verdant Wind, but you're not allowed to cook 5 times. You get an error message the 5th time saying cooking together has ended for this week. So there's a max of 4, and everyone has +4 to all stats here. One of the things I regret about my original video is that it was from the end of my very first Verdant Wind run on Maddening. And that was a casual playthrough where I played the DLC Ox battles and grinded up several extra units to try them out. So my team was really over-leveled. This time I wanted to make sure that my method was reasonably realistic for less grindy play. I'm recording from my test file, where I set everyone to level 40 and given them exactly their average stats based on their class paths. If you promoted at different times than I did, or you chose a different class progression, your units would expect stats slightly different from mine, but what you see here is fairly representative of these characters at level 40. The exceptions are where I've used stat boosters judiciously on key units. To wit, those are 10 Strength, 14 Dexterity, 8 Luck, and 1 Movement for Claude. The Strength gets him to the very minimum he needs for this clear, while the Movement is essential for reasons we'll see later. The Dex and Luck mostly just help a lot with reliability. Byleth has 2 extra magic and 5 extra speed as a Mortal Savant, enabling him to double and kill Karen at long range with Ragnarok. Flayne gets 7 more magic because she needs to rescue someone from 11 spaces away. It's worth pointing out that she also has S Reason and Black Magic range +1. She's going to need that. The other important note is that Marianne has both movement +1 and the March ring because, as my dancer, she needs to move a long way. I've set Hilda as Claude's adjutant and Ignatz as Raphael's for their special link bonuses, granting Claude and Raphael 3 extra damage. Ferdinand becomes Byleth's adjutant just for the hit bonus. The opening dialogue in this map points out one of the gimmicks, the swamp covering most of the battlefield. Its damage effect doesn't matter at all, of course, since we're going to finish on turn 1, but its movement effect really hurts cavalry units. That's a big reason why I'm relying heavily on flyers, and it also makes foot units better than horse ones.
You should not have done that. Be careful. The water is poisonous to the living.
It looks like we better not get near that swamp. Try to avoid it during the fight.
Now that we've enjoyed that for a moment, it's time to begin. Lawrence uses Stride on Claude, covering 8 units. After that, Cyril smites Byleth forward so that he gets past the forest, and Lysithea warps Leone forward to a position she needs to reach. Back in my original video, I attempted to kill 6 of the 10 elites on the way to the boss, but I did it just for fun. It didn't really make a difference for Lysithia's kill, except insofar as it made her chance to hit slightly better. But that sort of stuck in my mind, and I figured that I could probably improve my strategy so that I could kill 7 or 8 of the elites. And if I could do that, I would drop Nemesis' stats enough that I might just be able to crit him to death with CLAUDE. The thing is, if you're going to kill 8 elites and then Nemesis, that's at least 10 combat actions. Even if you're one-rounding everyone else, you have to attack Nemesis twice, once to break his shield and once to kill him. But if you can kill all 10 elites first, the shield disappears, so you only need 11 actions, which is just one more. I can deploy 12 units. I have one of those using Stride, another Smite, a third Warping, and a fourth using Rescue. That leaves me with 8 actions. I've also got a Dancer, who trades her actions 1 for 1, and a separate unit with Dance of the Goddess, who gives up his action to net 3 more. 8 plus 3 is 11, exactly the number I need. But there's another problem. 6 of my targets are more than 19 spaces away from the starting positions. So there's the real question. Do I have enough movement tech to do this? Can I send half my team all the way across the map? Can I kill Gautier, Dominic, and Lamine even though they're nowhere near the path toward the boss? To figure it out, I sat down with some virtual graph paper and recreated this whole map, complete with enemy positions, terrain, and my starting locations. And then I just worked out whether I could put together all the moves I needed. This is what I've come up with. I've talked over some of the action already. Raphael punched out Blathed with Fierce Iron Fist, and it didn't even take an especially strong set of gauntlets. Byleth killed Karen at 4 range using Thyrsus, and Sedith is easily dispatching Death Knell right now with his Spear of Assault.
I'll do my best.
Marianne's able to reach Sedith and dance for him. After the dance, Sedith can fly over and do exactly what he did to Daphne this time to Regan using Swift Strikes. The Spear of Assault really puts in work against these horse units.
I can feel it in my bone.
With Sedith gone, Flame can take his former position. There she trades for the Thyrsus to boost her attack range to 5, and then rescues Petra. The trade is the whole reason Flame has to do an 11 range rescue. Petra can fly far enough to do her job with much less help than that. But Flame has to get to this square and do the trade before she can do the rescuing.
I will prevail.
Once Petra's over here, she has to kill Gloucester. He's one of 3 annoying enemies with an equipment relic that gives him the Pavis and Aegis effects, but against a brave weapon, even that can't save him. His stats are not very impressive.
At the ready.
I have Claude go for a critical hit against Goneril. In fact, he could do this even more reliably with a Brave Bow, but I hope we can all agree that I did it this way for style points. I definitely didn't forget to revise Claude's method for this after I pumped him full of strength boosters.
I'm that much.
You're really tough.
With that done, he waits above Flame. By stopping here, he creates the correct formation to let Balthus refresh 4 units at once with Dance of the Goddess.
Oh, yeah.
Why, thank you.
Thanks.
The most oppressive kill threshold on this map actually belongs to Lamine, the Grimoire at the north end. She's immune to critical hits, so you just have to have enough raw stats to beat hers. On top of that, her Dark Raphael gem also gives her Pavis and Aegis at random, and she's really far away, so far that it's very difficult to get into a range where you can double her or hit her with a brave weapon. Claude is attacking with a bow at 5 range, which hurts his accuracy badly. This step is a real pain all around, and you might need to use Divine Pulse to manipulate the RNG by doing your actions in a different order.
It was the... Look! The swamp clear!
Claude actually doesn't need 14 move to reach Lamine with his Wind God art, but he does need it in order to move back one space, where Marianne can reach him and dance for him.
Sorry.
Killing Gautier with Bilious Magic is fairly routine. You already hit the threshold against Karen, and Gautier is weaker. Flame here has to use her full 5 attack range plus Claude's Charm Boost to kill Dominic with Excalibur.
My orders?
Leone takes on the final elite, Fraldarius, who as an enemy Falcon Knight is easily the strongest one. He again has Pavis and Aegis, and he's basically impossible to double, so Leone is using Hunter's Volley with the bow Zoltan Plus, the strongest bow in the game other than Failnaught. With that, she can kill him even if he procs Aegis once, which he does.
Professor, fall!
It took some doing, but now's our chance to face off against Nemesis.
Now we come to the final step. Claude has to kill Nemesis with a crit. Before we pull the trigger though, I want to point out some interesting thresholds. The magic number here is 36. 36 times 3 is 108, enough to kill. You can see that Claude has 38 listed might with a regular attack using Failnaught. He actually gained 1 point of strength on this map, so pretend this reads 37 might instead. We're already past the threshold, but with Failnaught, Claude can use Fallen Star, which grants 10 more might and 10 extra crit, making Claude's chance of success much better. That's what I'm about to do. Claude started this map with 49 listed strength, 40 from his own innate stats, 3 from Barbarossa, 2 from Strength plus 2, and 4 from Meals. With just 2 more points, he would actually hit the magic 36 number with a Killer Bow Plus and the Monster Blast art, giving him 15 extra crit. If Claude reaches this 51 strength mark, the Killer Bow Plus is the optimal choice. Also, Claude gets his link bonus with his Adjutant Hilda even on enemy phase, so the only effect he has on player phase that isn't active on the enemy phase is Death Blow. That drops his damage from 37 to 31. However, the AI in this game is a little bit silly. Nemesis has the ability Keen Intuition, giving him extra avoid when fighting at range. After he has been attacked once, Nemesis is able to move, and he seems to always move so that this ability is active if possible. If Claude uses Fallen Star but fails to kill, he can move 1 space to the right and wait. Nemesis will read lethal damage against Claude, so he will move first and try for the kill, and he'll do this by also moving 1 space to the right, off the stronghold. He does this even though he could stay where he is, and Claude wouldn't even be able to counterattack because he doesn't have close counter equipped. Fallen Star's effect makes Claude immune during the next round of combat. This means Claude can fail the kill using Fallen Star, and still get a second chance by counterattacking an enemy phase. The catch is that Nemesis heals 50% of his HP on his turn, enough to recover any damage that Claude already did, so Claude has to reach that 36 mark on enemy phase to succeed. Claude was doing 37 before, and since Nemesis leaves the stronghold, he actually does only 4 less damage on enemy phase. What this means is that if Claude had just 3 extra strength, meaning 52 listed, then his most consistent tactic would be to try for the Fallen Star kill, and then if he were to fail, he would have enough power to potentially get the kill on the counterattack. Beyond that, at 54 strength, you can drop strength plus 2 for hit plus 20 to make it easier to kill Lamine. At 55, you can instead trade Death Blow for Wrath, virtually guaranteeing the counter kill. Not every Claude is going to have Wrath, of course, but mine usually do because his skill strengths give him one of the easiest paths towards combining Vantage and Wrath in the game, and he's very good at abusing that combo. At 57, you can make both substitutions at the same time, eliminating almost all the randomness you're facing except for Lamine's chance to activate Aegis. One last thing I want to mention is that there's nothing from the DLC that's essential to this strategy. I didn't use the Sacred Galewind shoes or the Feathers of Dromi. The most important DLC thing I have is Dark Flyer Flame, who has 3 important qualities. She flies, she's able to move another flyer far enough to reach Gloucester with a brave weapon, and she's able to kill Dominic at range with a weapon effective against flyers. There are other ways for one unit to achieve all that, but I'm going to leave that challenge as an exercise for you, the viewer. See if you can come up with a way to do it. One advantage you might have is that Wyvern Lords and Falcon Knights have more movement than Dark Flyers do. That's all I have to say, so it's time to go for it.
Creature, prepare to die!
Strategy in motion. I'm that much closer to my goal.